How's it going, everyone? I'm SirJames coming at you guys with yet another Legacy Lightsaber review. This time we have one that's a little bit different because unlike all the other Legacy Lightsabers that I've covered here on the channel, those particular Legacy Lightsabers you could acquire at Doc Ondar's over at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, whether it's Disneyland, Disney World, or every so often Shop Disney. This particular Legacy Lightsaber, as you can see, is already in a black case instead of the standard gray. This Legacy Lightsaber is an exclusive to only the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser Hotel. If you don't know what that is a brand new location that opened up in the Florida area, a little bit closer to Disney World, and it's basically an interactive Star Wars hotel stay where you basically get to go and create your own Star Wars storyline, whether it is, helping the First Order, becoming a Force user by aiding the Jedi, Resistance, or Smuggler. There's all kinds of different paths, activities that you can do, and based on a lot of people who attended, including a lot of the content creators here on YouTube who have plenty of coverages already talking about their experiences and still continuing to this day to do so because there's a lot to take in apparently. Everyone apparently has had a good time. Now, I have yet to experience it myself, so hopefully one of these days I will. Now, along with exclusive merchandise on the Galactic Starcruiser, there is, of course, an exclusive Legacy Lightsaber, meaning that you'll never be able to find this at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Now, unlike all the other Legacy Lightsabers where they're mostly based on character sabers like Anakin, Obi-Wan, Ventress, Darth Maul, Ahsoka Tano, and so forth, this particular one is actually not based on a corresponding character. In fact, this one is actually based on the lightsaber, or in this case, the training saber that you would use actually at the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser, at least from what I've been told. I haven't actually seen what it looks, but that's the only thing that actually makes sense, and I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it is. Now, what also makes this particular Legacy Lightsaber different is that not only does it come with a black box and not tied to a character, but this actually includes this little airbish things that you can go ahead and attach. So let's go ahead and dive a little bit deeper into it. First off, here is the packaging. As you can see, it comes in a black crate instead of the standard gray ones like you would normally find. This one retails for the price tag of $170, so a bit pricier than your basic Legacy Lightsaber already, especially since the extra feature on here isn't, at least in my opinion, justifying the price quite a bit. But again, my reviews are only based on my opinions. Opening up on the inside, you are going to be presented with your Legacy Saber on the very top, and you're going to notice these little bits and pieces right here on the front. That is actually Arabish. Each and every one of those represents one of the letters in the Arabish alphabets. Now, unfortunately, because of my learning disability, it's really hard for me to learn Arabish and to try to memorize all that stuff. So, unfortunately, I don't know which one of these is A and B and so forth. So, please bear with me in this review. But yeah, like I said, inside this you get your saber and you get all these little doodads, one for each letter of the alphabet, and that's pretty much it. No blade included as typical. So we're going to go ahead and start with taking the hell out first, and I want to show you guys the hell, and then we'll take some of these out as well. Oops. So first off, here is your Legacy Lightsaber. Let me go ahead and give you guys a closer look here. Overall, it's actually got a very nice appearance. I do like the look and style to it. It may seem like it's a little bit plain on top, but I think it's a nice touch. If there's one thing that I probably would have liked to seen added, and this is something that you can do on your own as well, if you were to pick up one yourself if you're going to the Galactic Starcruiser, is this top section here with these rings. I probably would color those in. And that's just me personally. You don't have to if you don't want to, but just to add a little bit of color. Either way, it looks great nonetheless. Now, this does feature a cover tech wheel on the bottom. This will use 3 AAA batteries, which you go ahead and screw right here on the pommel section to get access to your battery. And do note that if you end up using a blade and your blade is acting funky, it's probably because you need to change your batteries. That's always the most common cause. Right here, this red button is actually not a button. It looks like a button, but it's not. And this section up here is actually where you're going to be attaching the Arabish letters. Of course, blade goes right in here. As for the activation switch is going to be a little bit hidden right here, just below where the red again, where you would think is the activation button is not, but right where the red button is, just a little toggle switch. Obviously, no blade, it's not going to do anything. With the blade, it will make noises. So first, let me go ahead and show you the little Aerobish. So again, these are the little alphabets, bits and pieces that you will get. As you can see, there's quite a bit of them, some of which I'm probably holding upside down, which again, I apologize. And as far as these little bits and pieces, you know, they're okay. They're not like super high quality for the money that you're paying, and in fact, they're like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like these little, it's like this cheapish. It's like not even metal. Like you could probably like bend this with your fingers. That's how cheap these little pieces feel, to be quite honest. But basically, what you do, and I don't even know which one's J. I'm gonna make a guess, and I don't even know if these are in order, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pick one. So the way it works is that you pick which one you want, and again, I don't know which one this one is, or if I'm holding it upside down, but you take this and you bring it over to your hilt, and hopefully I'm facing it correctly, and you will basically put it on. Well, you'll basically kind of put it on there. And that's pretty much it. That's all that does. Again, it's just Arabic letters that you go ahead and decorate just above, again, this red fake button here. And that's all it is. That's your customization, if you will, that they're calling it for this lightsaber. One thing that was also a bit annoying about these little cheapy plastic pieces is you know, I actually mess with model kits and stuff like that, so you could easily tell where they actually made cuts too. It's quite obvious. You know, they could have sanded those edges down to make it a little bit nicer, in my opinion, instead of just kind of cheaping out on their cuts. Like, some of them look okay and some of them look like they're just badly cut, so there's a little bit of quality control issues with those, in my opinion. But what you guys mostly want to know is what it sounds like. So let's go ahead and get to that. Because one of my favorite things, besides how the saber looks, is how the saber sounds. So let's go ahead and turn off this light here. As always with any and all Legacy Lightsaber, you just match the corresponding blade with how it goes in slot. Push in and twist to lock. So obviously, you're going to be having the same kind of electronics in terms of how that's all going to work. Again, the only main difference is really going to be whatever the color of the blade is going to be and what sounds it makes. So let's go ahead and activate. Now this lightsaber, in terms of weight, is actually very light. So this is in fact a lightsaber, if you will, unlike the last review where it was more of a heavy saber. And it just feels good in the hand all the way around, and I really like how it is. Let you guys hear it. Activate. And also what's cool is that you also have the logo right here of the Starcruiser, which is pretty neat. I might have it upside down. But yeah, you get the logo there for the Starcruiser. Pretty neat. Let me go ahead and turn this light back on and quickly switch out my camera batteries before it dies. Alright, welcome back. Apologies. I always keep forgetting to recharge my batteries. So, note to self. Anywho, like I was saying before I had to deal with that, is that in terms of the feel of the lightsaber, I really like this because it feels very, very good. And it's just like, it's an awesome feeling compared to some of the other Legacy lightsabers that I've reviewed quite recently. So like I said, the last one that I reviewed was quite heavy. This one is definitely very light. Now, in terms of the actual airbush writing, like I said, I have mixed feelings about it just because of how cheaply they feel, and some of the quality control issues with these cuts are pretty bad at times. There's one thing that I will note here, is that if you were planning on wearing this, let me disconnect this. If you were planning on bringing this particular Legacy Lightsaber with you to, let's say, Disney bound on your trips to Disneyland or Disney World, if you bought one on the Starcruiser, my personal recommendation and tip for you guys, or if you bought one on the secondhand market, which hopefully you're not supporting scalpers, is as far as these Arabic letters, I would recommend not putting it on your lightsaber when you go to Disney bound. And the reason why I'm going to say that is because when it's at home and personal use, I mean, this is perfectly fine. But let's say if you were to go to the theme park and you're wearing the saber with you and you have, let's say, a corresponding letter to your name, and someone just sideswipes you, this could easily knock off the hilts. So this is not something that's going to stay there quite well and it's like magnetized or anything like that. Again, this is so easy to knock off and so easy to lose. And do keep in mind that you only get one set of these. It's not like they give you a second set on the off chance you lose one, which personally, based on how these feel, they should honestly just toss in a second set in my opinion. But yeah, just again, a quick tip for you guys as well. And like I said, this is $170. It's a little bit more than your average Legacy lightsaber, seeing as the ones that go for like 160 usually come with some kind of adapter, an extra piece, and then the ones below that are just basic. Do I feel like this deserves that extra upcharge? Honestly, not really. I feel like they should have just priced this like any other Legacy saber for the general basic pricing, since there's no like really big hefty thing extra inside the box that would justify that price increase for something that's going to be $20 more. The other thing too, and this is just my honest opinion as well, that's all these reviews are, is, you know, if you're going to pay so much money to go to the Starcruiser experience, which again, I heard the experience was absolutely amazing, a lot of fun, which I can't wait to do myself, is here is what I would have liked to have seen. Especially if you're going to go there just to have some kind of like memory keepsake, especially for those who are interested in the Legacy lightsaber. I think it would be really cool if Disney could have offered some kind of etching service where you could have like the bottom of the pommel section etched in with your name. Like, think of how cool that would be to go and purchase a Legacy lightsaber and have an option with a little bit of an extra fee, which I wouldn't mind honestly, and just have your name etched right into the bottom of the pommel section. I think that would be a really cool feature. But again, this is just something that I would have personally liked to have seen over the Arabic letters, in my opinion. But again, to each their own. So what do you guys think about this Legacy lightsaber? Let me know down below. And also, before I forget, because I forgot to mention this right in the beginning, this review was actually made possible courtesy of Finding the Force here on YouTube. They're the ones that reached out to me to help me acquire some of the exclusive merchandise. And this is actually their lightsaber that they were kind enough to let me borrow to review to you guys, because they were doing these limited quantities, so I couldn't really get one myself if I wanted one, just because of how limited these things were per cabin, which was kind of a weird rule, especially if you're kind of going in as a group. But whatever the case may be, I was glad that I had the opportunity to review it. And personally, if I ever get the chance to go to the Galactic Starcruiser, I too would probably want to add one of these to my personal collection as well. But until then, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section. And don't forget to stay tuned for next week, because we're going to be taking a look at another custom lightsaber, one from Saber Pro. But until then, you guys have a good weekend. And until then, may the Force be with you.